This is one of those video topics that I think is cause for excitement. When you go to a nursery and you buy your trees, you've basically bought what somebody else has already got partially established. When you're growing it from seed or you're trying to do cuttings or something, you get to see just what the nursery people go through, and you'll have some losses, some gains. And we've got some gains. Russian mulberry. So you remember they leaved out so late, which was worrying me. They were one of the last trees to leaf out. But now, as you can see, they're fully leaved out. And this entire branch here, this is new growth. So in about a month, they grew like 4 inches. Now, Russian mulberry is a shrubby tree, so seeing that it has all of these branches so low down is not surprising. If you want it to grow as a regular tree, then you'd have to be cutting off the lower branches to give it that central trunk until it get up high, and then of course once it's up too high, you just have, it's kind of a messy looking crisscross of branches up high. So you can grow it as a shrub or you can grow it as a tree. Now this is one. We have 15. I'll give you just a little clip of each one. There's this one. If you take note, the branch, the leaves, there is variation. I guess depending on where they grow, but it is from seed, so you'll get variation anyway. And this is more of a wild type growing. It's not like your typical clone trees, so there's more variation there. This one I had to cut back the alder, and I'll have to remove this white spruce. Out in full sun, you see the indentation. It is, okay, so you got the tooths, but there is a little bit of a wave on it. But in full sun, they don't. This one is pointing north, and you can see the indentations like on the other one. But the ones that get the most sun, they don't have as much of a wavy pattern on the edge of the leaf. All beautifully leaved out. Going to have to keep that alder cut right down to the ground. And there's the... Not all of them are growing a lot, but I mean, look, this one put on about 1.5 inches there. Right, so they are growing. Just some are growing slower than others. See, this one's really deeply lobed. This is one that's struggling to make it. It's got just a little couple leaves down here. That one's doing just fine. I had to clear the grass back a bit and put some mulch around it. Another one growing just beautifully. So remember, I planted these in the late fall when they were starting to go into dormancy. This one is struggling, but he's coming along. Looks like we got some snails that found this one. Hopefully we don't have too much damage. I might bring up some pellets and scatter around. This one I lost. I'm going to have to take up my sticks because the sticks are starting to grow, but the mulberry isn't. I can go picking Alpine Strawberries. There's the odd looking one. It's growing nicely. It's got a kind of a fuzzy branching on it, and really, yeah, it's a fuzzy leaf, like a soft leaf. So it's not the typical alder. I don't know what it is. This one, it probably didn't have enough light, maybe, and nothing was coming of it. Maybe I should have cut down as a birch, but I mean, that was the place I wanted to plant it. Either I should have planted it out here further, or cut down that birch and these alders. Because once again, see, this one is not coming. So back here, I guess there's too much competition from the holders and stuff. I don't know exactly how. I might try to see how to work it that the tree will actually take hold here. And once again, back at the edge of the force, it's not taking hold. They had a trail going along here. It was a little bit more in the open. And this is the biggest of them all. It's getting up close to my waist. Growing beautifully, that one is. And look at the stem that it grew this year. So that was, we had, was it 4 that was dead, and then we had that one that was just a couple leaves on. So that was 16. So 4 out of 16. We got 12 left, and one of them had a couple leaves. So 11 that's growing really well, and one that's still struggling to make it. Now I have 4 out here that I planted as, and those are, we are going to trim up the bottom and have a just a big trunk until the branches are overhead on either side of what I want to be the opening into these 2 areas. They were ones I put in earlier, and on top of that I put some fertilizer, granular fertilizer that I had been given, decided to throw some down, and I almost killed them. But this one is coming back really nicely, so he'll make it. And cross on the other side, this one. So that's the 2 now that's on either side of where I'm going to have the opening into the Russian mulberry patch. That's new, but it looks like I partially cut it and didn't finish. But it blew down in the last wind. It wasn't down last time I was here. This one, as you can see, is growing excellent just like the other ones. It was shorter before, but this year, you can see the shoot that is put on here. So it's growing really good. Down here, I have nothing. There's just a dead little stick down there. This one died completely. He didn't survive the application of granular fertilizer. Now while I'm standing here, I might as well tell you what I've decided to do is put the red mulberries down here and not worry about them crossing, because technically it doesn't matter whether they cross or not. Just I'm going to have mulberry trees. So I'll probably put a red mulberry on that side since I got them growing, and then plant the rest of them out there. That will be late fall, the same as I've done with the other Russian mulberry. I have been checking, and the only Osage orange that are still alive, and you can see the green of that main branch there, it's putting on new growth, is the mulberries that as soon as I put them down, I had a good number of sticks around, and the hares didn't get at them. If you remember that most of the other ones, the hares just eat them right down to the ground. This one come back real nice, and you can see the new shoots there. That's the second Osage orange. Yeah, that birch fell down in the last couple of days. And another one is growing really beautifully. I think I have one more Osage orange, making 4 in all here somewhere. But I will be keeping high on where the other ones were to see if anything grows. And once again, late fall, those Osage orange that I have in the pots down there, I will be planting them up here. My next firewood task, that birch right there, I want the wood for a woodworking project. I'm going to have to cut down some of the spruce in order to get that birch down. Got to clear out around my Siberian pea shrub and bring it some mulch. I think I'm going to bring it some kelp mulch. But you see, it's grown 2 or 3 inches so far this year, and it's growing right out of the top, so it didn't get any winter kill at all. You've seen these when I was doing the other garden tour, and it does get winter kill up top. We'll see how they grow in the future, but down low it's leaved out good. Second one is growing a nice shoot. Third one is leaving out. This is the one that's struggling. This one has a darker leaf and it's getting really bushy. This one is doing nicely further up, so it didn't get as much winter kill as the other ones did. And this one you see almost right to the top. Now, you see this mean stalk here, it looks like it's all dead and gone, but the leaves are coming out, so that is actually cause for excitement too, that maybe it's not so much winter kill and it will in time get better. So this one is doing nicely. So that's 7 Osage orange that I have to plant late fall. See, when you're trying something new, don't get worried too soon. Honey locust. It finally leaved out and is growing quite nicely. So I got a nice one growing here. This one, you see that started down there and it's growing up, so it's growing fairly fast. It'll put on a few inches every year. For there. 1, 2, 3. I lost 2. That's 2 out of 8. I have 24 red mulberries here. Every one of them is alive. There is one that the main piece died there, but it looks like it's coming back really well from down low. I have one over there that's kind of struggling to put out its leaves. But apart from that, the other 22 are growing just beautifully, actually growing better than the Russian mulberry. Now, one thing I'm noticing about the mulberries is that the shape of the leaf depends on how well it's growing. If you put it in more nutrient-rich soil, which this is, you'll get a smoother leaf. And I guess they need full sun. They don't tolerate the shade that much, it seems. But you see this leaf, it does have a little indentation, typical of the deep indentations on the Russian mulberry that you've seen. So the leaf shape will vary depending on the resources that the tree is getting, apparently. I have this thing here. I guess it's a black locust. I have to wait for it to grow a little bit more. At any rate, if that's the case, I have 6 black locusts here. And these 3 are doing the best. This one seemed to have further winter kill on him. This one is doing just magnificent. I don't know exactly where these are going to be planted yet, but I have until the fall to find out. This one didn't grow. The last year's growth didn't do much, but I think this part is growing now will do excellent. and the other two we'll see in time. As far as the growth goes, you see this is more fertile soil. That's actual topsoil that I put in there and quite deep. So they're growing exceptionally well here. But my research says that if you want to restrict their growth, you can put them in poor soil. The other thing you can do is put them in pots, so they basically use up the nutrients, and then you feed them enough to have them growing as fast as you want them to grow. Those in the back are the ones growing their best. You do have to remember that this is a climbing vine, so it is an understory species, right? So the little bit of shade that it's getting there from the wisteria might be helping for it to grow so much better than these that are out further. But the new shoot came up, I mean, it's a foot and a half off the ground. It's fairly good. So I am really happy with the growth of these kiwi. Now you see, these are doing wonderful in my opinion. The reason why is because what I just said. These were sitting out in the full sun, and they're also just in the confines of these little containers. It looks like I lost the ones that were most in the sun, actually, because I had this up against the corner. The clematis was on this end, and then there was shade from the shade, so this way it got more shade. The ones that got most of the sun, I think it was that fared the worst. But at any rate, I'm not going to worry about that. These here now, they will all grow excellent. They got beautiful growth down the bottom. How many do I have? 13, and 2 are gone already, so I did have 15 in all. There was 24 there originally. So they will grow in full sun. It's just they like the shade better. Partial shade, not full shade, I don't think. These, I guess, are for sale because I have quite a few over there, and I also have seeds for both the Bower kiwi, and another kind of kiwi. I can't remember the name. So I have 13 Bower kiwi to sell. Only trouble is, if you want one, you have to come and get it. There's one person who asked me if I'd sell them earlier on. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, they are what is called monoecious. They're either male or female. They don't have both male and female on the one plant. But it would be nice to have to take them and put them as a young plant where you want them to grow. And if you end up with, so you take 2, right? And you plant them out, and if you end up with 2 of the one kind, by that time I will have some. I'm going to put some of these in pots, and the nice thing about it is that when you put them in a pot, you can cut them back every year to like a couple feet, right? And let them grow it again, so you can keep them restrained greatly, just the same as you would a grapevine. Actually, they cut grapevines way back every year, and you can do it with these as well. So that's what I'm going to do, as well as see about cloning them, so that when I know I've got male or female, I will have some in pots that are well established, male and female, and I'll also have the ability to clone them, so that I can start new. I know right away that it is a male or female right from the get-go, right? And the last piece of excitement with respect to the trees is I'm doing this experiment. This is seaberry I'm cloning. I have 10 male seaberry cuttings put in here, and only 1 died, so that's 9 male seaberry. I have 12 in the house. I think I'm going to get 6 out of that 12. Over here, I have, among the other plants, I put in 20 cuttings of a female seaberry. There's 6 of them, I think, that looks like they are going to take and grow. In the house, however, I put in 12 female cuttings, and all 12, every one of them, all 12 seem to be doing just fine. So I've got 9 and 6, and 6 and 12. I've got 18 known females and 9, possibly 15 known male seaberries. Plus, of course, the one that I already got. So actually I got 19 known females. Excitement! Hit the like button, tell me what you think. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.